Hi, good morning to you. Yes, we are in the beautiful Elm City this morning here, continuing our Turnout Tuesday coverage. We are launching it this morning. Senator Martin Looney joining us now in his lawn. Thank you, Senator, for joining us this morning.
Oh, great to be with you this morning.
Yes, of course.
Thanks for coming to New Haven.
Absolutely. We love to make it here on the shoreline whenever we can. So we are talking about the primaries here coming up in Connecticut on August 9th. Can you just explain a little bit, what does the turnout usually look like for the primaries in comparison to the general election, especially in Connecticut?
Well, it's usually substantially lower than for the general election. Obviously, the highest turnouts we see are in presidential years. The next highest are in gubernatorial year general elections, then municipal elections. But primaries tend to have a much lower turnout, and especially when there is not a really headline race. Like 4 years ago, we did have a primary for governor at the time between then Mr. Lamont and Mayor Ganim. So we anticipate the turnout, at least on the Democratic side, will be lower than it was in 2018.
Right. And so why is the turnout so low for the primaries, and why is it so important to get people out for the primaries?
Well, it's important because that is when the parties select their candidates, and somebody is a registered party member of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. That is the opportunity to choose the candidate who will run in the general election. So people who are eligible to participate and fail to do so then just leave themselves with the election year general election choice when they could have participated earlier when the party was actually selecting its candidates.
Right. And sometimes, you know, when you're not informed about who is running in the election, sometimes you go in there, you look at the ballot, and you look at all these names, and you have no idea who you're even looking at, who they are, what they represent. What would your best advice be to voters ahead of August 9th? Because they have quite some time now to do their research. How do they do their research, and what's your best advice to them?
Well, I would anticipate, since almost all the candidates will be sending out mailings, and we'll also be doing things online. There'll be news coverage. So as we get closer and closer to the primary, I think that more people will be paying attention, and there'll be a lot of opportunities to educate themselves. Sometimes groups like the League of Women Voters will host candidate forums to get information out. Sometimes there'll be candidate debates as you get closer. I'm sure Fox 61 may be participating in some of those. So there are lots of opportunities the closer you get to the primary to have people focus on it and have sources of information.
Right, and so we have time for one more question here. So if you could say anything to a Connecticut voter right now, whether it's about the primaries or the general election, what would you say? What is your best advice?
Start paying close attention and be ready to participate on August 9th if you're a registered Democrat or a registered Republican, and then please vote on November 8th. Of general election day, because so many people have sacrificed so much for that right to vote in our country that no one should take it lightly.
Right, and the local elections sometimes people don't realize are the more important, especially when it comes to issues affecting our state.
Well, that's right. I mean, the state is involved in so many matters of policy that affect people every single day. Criminal penalties, civil penalties, environmental law, commercial law. These are all policies that are made at the state level. So if people think that state government doesn't affect their lives, it does in so many ways every single day. So they should be participating.
All right, Senator Looney, a wealth of knowledge here in our state, especially when it comes to Connecticut politics. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fox 61 Morning News to kick off our Turnout Tuesday coverage for everyone at home. Again, this is just day one. We will be doing significant coverage leading up to August 9th, so we can make sure everyone at home can be an educated voter and make the right decision for them when it comes to primary day. For now, we are live in New Haven. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61 News.